Hello and welcome to the Fit and Fabulous Any Age podcast. Today I have with me my mom, my co-host today. Super excited. Today we're actually going to be, I've done one other interview with her, but today I wanted to interview her on the confidence it took for her to step on stage after 50, because I feel like a lot of women think like, oh, I'm 50. I'll never be able to achieve any of my goals or dreams I've set out. I'm over the hill. It's done. It's over. My life's over. My kids are older. My life passed me by, but my mom's like, def- I don't know, against the odds. Like, you have transformed your physique, you've accomplished things that I think a lot of women, maybe, I don't know, whether you want to compete or not, maybe it just comes down to feeling confident in your skin. But I think a lot of women would love to, like, know, like, what it took for you to finally, like, just go all in with yourself, because I think that's where a lot of women get stuck. I guess let's go back when you were in your 40s. I was competing, I was competing, I was doing all those things. But did you ever think like that even crossed your mind that you wanted to do something like that?
It really never did. Like, I remember seeing you on stage 2 or 3 times and just thinking, wow. And I remember seeing Dakota and just being blown away. Like, the energy at those competitions were just insane. It was just mind blowing. Like, you would get there and just see all these beautiful men and women compete and on stage and at the peak level of their performance and their bodies. And geez, it's your minds too that get there. But no, I never thought I would do it. I mean, I was just older. I'd had injuries. I just no. I never thought I'd compete. So it's really cool when you mention, getting older and your kids getting older and leaving the house. You just, it's almost like you have to find a whole new you because you've lived your life raising your kids or your profession. It just depends on who you've been as a person. And, sometimes you just get older and you just think, okay, this is it. But that was never it for me. I always wanted more. I'd had injuries. I never thought I could. I just never thought I could. It was really cool when I remember I was at a competition. It was Dakota's and you were there. You were her coach. I remember you just leaned back and you looked at me and you leaned back in your chair and you're like, Mom, your turn's next. And I just remember thinking, really? You really think I could? And that's been, I was 50. I think I had just turned 50. And here I'm 57 and I've competed. I've been on stage 10 times.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
I know. And I've had injuries in between and I've just come out of those and just keep going. So it is cool because you think when you get older, that part of your life is just kind of over and you don't realize that your body can still just keep performing. You just have to
Yeah.
be patient and geez, believe in yourself and have somebody along the way that comes to you and you're like, you can do it. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. You kind of just, I don't know, I think like, well, let's talk about it. Before, I mean, when you were kind of like in that before place, like not even, like thinking about competing or, because competing, I feel like is the goal, right? That's like this, like, that's what I want to do. But there's so much more that happens in between the getting on stage and like developing who you are in between those time frames. So, how did you feel like in your body and like about yourself and like your confidence? Like, let's talk about that. Like, what were you struggling with in before that? Before you just decided to like, just jump in and just like I'm gonna just do a show. I'm just gonna try it. Like, what were you struggling with before then?
What was really hard is I had had injuries. I had had anxiety that had taken my body down. I had had a lot of things that had taken my body down. I was so busy. I worried about everybody else but me. And I just, my body was tired. My brain was tired. I was just tired. and something clicked. It was like I'm like, this is not all I want my life to be. This, like, I just don't want my life to be over and just continue in this, and like, this can't be it. This just can't be it. And it's, you talk about your confidence level. I think I was always confident in myself and my abilities, but when your body gets hurt, you don't know if it's something that your body can handle, or if you can keep doing. So it was really important for me to go back to the gym, to work out, and to see progress little by little. Because when you're older, I mean, you've had a lot of things hit you in life. And so to have things start working in your favor to where you start seeing progress now, that's cool. I mean, that was really cool. It took me time to have that confidence in my body that it could keep pushing through the injuries and keep going. But your body's so damn strong, and your mind is strong. You just have to keep talking to yourself and telling yourself you can do it. But I don't know. I think I've always had pretty good self confidence, but I had just felt really, really weak in my body. And so it was important to, talk to you, and you talk to me and say, Mom, you can do this. And, to have good people in your corner that really support you and lift you up. Because it's hard coming out of injuries and anxiety, and um, you just don't know if those, all those if questions that you ask yourself, all those things that you push through, you want to make it, but you don't know if you can. And so it's always good to have somebody in your corner. Like, it's good to be some places where you have a lot of people in your corner. And that's what the gym really became for me, is I had good friends and people that were like, go, Camille, you're doing this. You're totally doing this. And I would see progress every day, little teeny steps. And that was huge. So yeah, I don't know. There's so much that happens. You have people come into your life that help you get to where you want to. And I swear you just have these dreams that start forming when you start asking yourself, is this it? Is this really all that's it when you're older? Because you've always wanted more, but life just has kind of ate at you, and you get tired. But you do have people that come into your life, and geez, I kind of get teary eyed because it's like you are meant for more, and God knows you want more. And it's like the universe just starts rolling into your favor and showing you more and more. And so I think that's just, things start happening. You start believing more in yourself, and people start coming into your life, and and then you start believing more in yourself, and things start happening with your body, and it's kind of a snowball effect. But it takes time. Yeah, I wish I had more to say, but yeah, I if I could go back to myself and all the doubts and insecurities that I had of, could you really do something like this, Camille? Can you keep going? Can your body keep doing this? Um, and I'd just be there in my ear going, you're gonna do this, Camille. You're gonna get there, and you're gonna have all these people come into your life that are gonna get you there. Just don't stop. Keep going. And, it happens. It happens slowly, but it happens. And that's been probably 7.5 years ago. And here I am.
10 shows later, stepping on stage at 50, you're, early 50s, mid 50s, late 50s, like it's pretty cool. Um, were you, I guess, like, let's talk about, I mean, maybe you didn't lack like confidence, but maybe you're confident in your ability to achieve it. It sounds like maybe there was a little bit of self-doubt there. how did you work through that self-doubt? Because I feel like for a lot of women, they're like, I would love to, either compete, or I just would love to like get to this level that I've never gotten to before with my health or my fitness or my body, but they lack a lot of, they have like a lot of self-doubt. They have a lot of like, I don't know, it probably won't happen for me. It hasn't happened for me. But I feel like no matter your age, you can like, you've proven you can make it happen. So how did you work through some of that self-doubt, and maybe those little voices in your head that like, if you could go back to like your old self? I feel like this is the best way I can always reframe it. Like, if I could see where I'm at now 10 years ago, I'd be like, damn, like that's amazing. Good job, Brooklyn. So like if you could go back to yourself 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like what would you tell her to work on and focus on to overcome some of that self-doubt so that you can get to that place that you actually want to get to?
It just makes me teary-eyed again, because I'm like, you get to the other side and your mind and your body gets so strong. But in the beginning, and I remember coming out of anxiety, and I remember coming out of, problems with our family, to where, I had given everything up and I had really hit rock bottom. And I'd had things happen along the way that just broke my heart. It broke my body. You just feel it in your body. Never give up on yourself. If I could go back and tell myself, it's funny, if you could show yourself pictures of your future self, you couldn't even believe that you could achieve it. Like, you'd be like, what the hell? Like, really? Is this going to be my life? Because I feel like you go through a lot of these rock bottom moments because it gets you to where you have to push yourself. You're like, I'm never going to feel like this again. I'm never going to hurt like this again. I am going to push myself so hard. And I feel like you go through several moments like that to where you finally get to where you're like, I'm doing it and I'm not going to stop. Um, it seems like there were different levels I would hit. I remember I had to lose my weight from the anxiety from the medication I was on. That was really hard. I had to pull myself out of that. And that was teeny tiny step at a time. And you get a little bit higher in your level of confidence. I can do this. Like, I really did that. I can work out now again. My body can do this. I have injuries from this, but I'm doing it. And then you hit a different level where you start working on your nutrition, and you start realizing you can start dialing it in more. And then you work through so many different levels. They're just different levels, but each level gets you a little bit higher and higher. I swear, you go like this and then you just go, you go up and then you go down, and then you go up and then you go down a little bit. But I would just tell myself to keep going. You're going to make it and you'll be amazed. I remember this weekend, like, you were visiting me this weekend, and your pictures of Charleston came through, your national competition from, was it Junior USA's?
Yeah.
Was that it? And we had went
Yep.
together, and
What was
that
it?
was
5 years ago.
was 5 years ago on Saturday, and that came through. And even your body looked different. And now you've got all these big muscles in your waist, and like, you just look different and beautiful and confident. But back then, that was at the beginning of, geez, hitting stage, and that was before you even were really going for pro hardcore. But that was really cool to see, because that was just 5 years ago. So what would you tell
Crazy. I know.
yourself?
Yeah, I think like it's funny because sometimes we think like if we don't get it in a year or we don't get it in a few months or we get discouraged immediately and then we want to quit, right? And so when you showed me that, you're like, can you believe this was 5 years ago today? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I would have just quit. If I would have been like, well, this isn't happening for me, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit on this and this and this. I probably wouldn't be anywhere where I want to be in my life with anything. So I think, like, for a lot of women, they quit too soon and they
Very
quit too
true.
quickly. They give up too quickly because they aren't there yet. But what if you're maybe you're a year away from where you want to be? For me, it took me 5 years, to really like get get the right help, get the right coaching, get the right mindset. Like my life had to be in the right place, like as did yours with all your competing. Like so sometimes I think like if I could go back and tell my old self, it's like you may not be there yet, but like if you just don't quit, like you just keep trying and keep trying to find the people who can get you where you want to be. Like I feel like that's really crucial too. Like people who believe in you and coaches and mentors, and surround yourself with people who also believe in you. And just because you don't get it now or it's not happening for you right now doesn't mean it's never going to happen for you. But I feel like a lot of women, it's like, well, this didn't happen for me. I put 6 months in. I guess I'll never get there. And it's like, but what if you would have got there 6 months later? What if it would have taken you a year or 2 years? But then you finally arrived and it finally happened for you. And you're like, you've done it. Like you've accomplished it. And when you showed me that photo, that was the first thing that came to my mind of like, wow, sometimes we're maybe months or years away from the goal that we have. Because I remember I was like, well, maybe I could go pro. I was years away. I was years and years away from it, but because I didn't give up and because I sought out the right help and I just kept working towards it, I eventually achieved it. And I feel like that's with anything in life. Like just because things aren't working out for you right now or it's maybe slow, or you're not there yet doesn't mean it's not gonna not happen. So that's what I feel like a lot of women, like I'll have clients, they're like, well, how long do you think it's going to take me? And I'm like, I don't know, it could take you 6 months, it could take you a year. But what if it takes you 2 years and you finally reach the goal and you achieve the composition that you've always wanted and you sustain that for the rest of your life? Was that worth the 2 years? Or, like I'm always kind of coming to the conclusion of like, put the time, the effort, the energy, the money, all of it, put everything into it so then that way it's just who you are. But I feel like we live in a world of like instant gratification,
Very
and a lot of women like they'll see you and they're like, "Oh, that must be nice," and I'm like, "Well, it's actually taken you years and years to get to the
years.
point you're at."
Yeah.
Years.
It has taken me years. Yeah. I just had a brain fart.
No, it's okay. I think for a lot of women, it just takes you longer than you realize to get to where you want to be. But like, if you got it instantaneously, you probably wouldn't appreciate it much, and you'd probably go back to where
That
you
is
were
true.
because you didn't really learn any skills or develop any. That's why, like, when I was asking you, like, what would you tell your old self? It's hard to kind of remember what it felt like because you develop into a different version of yourself. When I always tell my clients this, they're like, why is it that I'm noticing, like, all these people that are disrespectful towards me? And that, like, I'm noticing that like this doesn't align with me anymore and this, and I'm like, it's because you're leveling up. When you start taking care of yourself, you start leveling up as a person, and you kind of change. You change into a
You
better
do.
version of yourself. But that's hard. That's hard when you're like on the other side of it and when you're first starting, because when you're first starting a lot of people don't want to see any, they don't want to change that much.
Well,
But like
you
that's the whole
change.
point. Like, that's yeah.
You changed so much. I remember when I first went back to the gym, just I'm like, I need to conquer this fear. This is a fear I need to get rid of in my life. And it was, oh, it was so scary. So I went back to the gym, and that was a big fear that I faced. And I'm just getting back there. And then I remember after I was working out for a couple of months, I just had a feeling I was supposed to compete. I actually woke up with a dream that morning. I'm a dreamer. Um, and I just knew I was supposed to compete, but it took me a year from that goal. But I remember there were so many things that changed in that year. It's like that journey, like when somebody said, was it hard? Like, and I'm like, yeah, but it was the coolest thing ever. Like the things you learn about yourself, like you learn that you're strong and that you can do anything. And when you keep going when things are hard, I mean they're really hard. Your body hurts or you're tired and you learn that you just keep going. You keep showing up, you keep doing it, and you learn that your body will work for you, that you will find ways to make it work. You learn that there will people will come into your life and they'll be your little cheerleaders and they'll be who you look forward to that morning. Some people will fall out of your life. That's hard. Some things you'll have to get rid of and stop doing. That's hard. But you learn so much about yourself, and the journey is incredible. It's the coolest experience to compete and know that you can do something so hard, so very, very hard. And you can conquer these fears that, I mean, who in their right mind would get up on stage when you're 50 years old? I mean, you've got bags and sags, and even though you've worked on your body's still 50 years old. That was hard, but I still did it. And I looked bomb. I mean, I looked so good. I have these pictures of me on stage, my first competition, and my body was so strong. It's just the journey. It's who you become along the way. It's not the destination. It's who you start becoming every step of the way. And you keep proving to yourself. And, here I am 7.5 years later, and I'm still doing it. And a lot of things have changed in my life. I mean, a lot. I've let go of a lot of friends just because we weren't in the same place and I needed other people. I spent my time more on people that encouraged me, and loved what I did and didn't bring in other things that I wasn't into anymore and would ask me questions and constantly, just kind of make you question yourself or doubt yourself. You really do have to get rid of that. And that takes time. That's hard to do. But I think the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But you just become this whole new version of yourself that you're so proud of. And you can do about the hardest thing ever. So, and then you just keep going because, well, I fell in love with it. But it's fun to keep promises to yourself, even if you don't compete. But if you can just keep going with your health journey and, learning about your foods and your body and how your body can work out and be healthy with it. Those are about the coolest things ever, to see your body improve and keep improving. And, like we were talking about before, maintenance is about the hardest thing ever. But when you start learning it's what you love and what you love to do, it really just becomes more of who you are and those choices. And it just, over the years, it just really becomes who you are. And yeah, it's conquering a lot of fears, so many fears. So, especially about being
What are some of
older.
the fears that Yeah, so let's talk about like what are some of the biggest fears you feel like you overcame, and what would you recommend to women like who are maybe stuck? Because I feel like that's why a lot of women don't take action. They're stuck in a place of fear. They're afraid of maybe what other people think. They're afraid of like them not reaching their goals, or like I feel like the fear of what other people think, the fear of
Is
like,
big.
am I gonna have time for this? Like, is this even worth my energy anymore? My age? Am I too old? Like, what would you tell those women?
There's nothing like having a strong, fit body. It just, because it's also a mental thing. It's therapy when you go to the gym and you work through all those hard things that are going on in your life. It's just therapy when you hit hard weights. Everybody that I speak to that goes to the gym, they work through a lot of hard things in their life, and it's the weights that get them, that you push those hard weights and you're like, yeah, and you get through all that stress. It just pushes through you. It is a psychological thing that pushes through your body and gets rid of it, and you get those happy endorphins. It's incredible. But the fears that I had to push through is, I'm older. I'm so much older. I mean, why the hell didn't I do this when I was younger? I think I just kept thinking, am I going to regret not doing this now? Am I going to look back on my life? Am I going to have another 5 years hit? And I'm going to look back and be like, where could I have been if I would have kept trying? Where could I have been if I would have just kept pushing? And you can either start pushing forward and working hard now, or you will look back at yourself in 1 or 2, 3, 5 years and be like, I could have been there. I really could have been stronger. I could have been healthier. It's like you're not getting any younger. You're going to keep getting older. Your body will just, you have injuries. It's part of being active and a healthy lifestyle is you are going to have things happen, but are you going to push through those? Are you going to just keep going, or are you going to let that set you back? I used to let life set me back. As you get older, you have a lot of, and even as you're younger, everybody's got things that hit them at different times in their life, traumas. And there were a couple times I let those traumas get to me, and my health after those, just to climb out of that hole each time, was so hard. That happened twice. And after that, I'm like, I'm never going to let things stop me again. So I kept pushing through every single fear. I had fear of what would people think of me in this community. I'm older. I'm 50 years old. What the hell am I doing competing? But then I would go to the gym. I would go, I had some really good friends that believed in me, and they're like, Camille, you're so powerful. Like, that's so cool. And then I had some friends who are like, wow, that's kind of scary. And you just learn to not listen to them, get rid of those friends, or just not hang out with them anymore. And you go to those friends or those places where they lift you up. To be older and doing this, and there are people that do say things behind your back, and that's hard in the beginning. That was really hard. I would hear things, and actually some people said things to my face. That was hard. But for the most part, most women, especially the younger women, are just like, Camille, your goals. I mean, I want to be you when I grow up. And how cool is that to hear that? You know, because I'm still growing up myself. I'm still that little girl that I was years and years ago. I still want big things out of life. I still want to feel good, look good. I still want to feel beautiful. And I love to feel empowered and strong and having a healthy body, because I've been where my body was injured and I couldn't move. And so you just keep pushing forward through all those fears, through everything that people, what they're going to say about you, even some of your own family, because that's hard too. I mean, that is hard. I mean, now I'm kind of like, shh, like, don't listen to it. But back then, that was really, really hard. Like that, I remember a couple times just crying. I remember, even with my girls that compete, my two girls, I remember I even had a sister that took one of the family shares that I had of her on stage off our family group share. And I remember just saying, oh, hell no. You think you think this looks like porn? I'm going to start competing because of that. So that's probably one of the things that got me to compete, but it was the best thing ever. Sometimes you do things in spite and it ends up being the best thing ever. So you just keep going. When things hurt, when they hurt your feelings, that's when somebody will come into your life and they'll say something kind is, don't let those sons of bitches get to you. Don't you dare. You keep doing you. You keep doing these things that make you feel strong. And that's what I would tell a lot of the women. Just keep doing it. You keep going. Don't give up, because you'll get there. You'll get there. And keep believing in yourself. And you just find those people that believe in you and just keep pushing hard, because you do have to push hard through some of those things. It's hard, and it's hard sometimes when you have a spouse that doesn't really like what you're doing. That's really hard. That's really hard, but um, you just keep going. You just, you will find a way. If it's important to you, you will find a way, and you'll just keep having little miracles in your life show up for you. And it's not just you pushing hard, but I swear, God, the universe just keeps throwing things at you, just really good things that make you keep believing in yourself. And it's not just you that shows up for yourself, but other people will show up for you too. And I just remember certain people when things would hurt me or make me feel bad. That's when I would have other people show up or say something to me, and I'd be like, damn straight, that's right. You may cry a little, and then you start feeling empowered and like, I'm not going to quit. And you keep going. So I don't know. Looking back, I mean, I look back and I do remember tears sometimes and being frustrated, and you just keep going. You just don't stop. So
I think that's really powerful. You kind of had to push through a lot of like worry and
scary.
fear of what other people think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you just had to get to a point where you just honestly you just have to get to a point where you just have to stop caring. Like you just have to be like, you know what? If you're not going to support me and love me for who I am and what goals I have, like you probably don't deserve to be around me because that's fine. And not for a lot of women that's a hard place because then they have to like get new friends or stop hanging out with their old friends. But I feel like that's kind of the whole point. Like when you start to work towards your goals and work on yourself, like you'll find your people. You always will.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love that. So you kind of talked a little bit about like just finding more confidence in yourself and your ability, being more empowered, mental like strength in the sense of just continuing to go and being persistent. Um, so I guess like what would you tell other women who maybe feel like they're in the very, very, very beginning and they feel really insecure, maybe a lot of fear? Like what would you tell them to do so then that way they can eventually get to where you're at right now?
I remember hitting the gym and I was, bigger than I am now. I was 20 pounds bigger than I am. I had lost, a bulk of my weight from my anxiety and the medication. But when I hit the gym, I wasn't where I wanted to be. And it was hard because I didn't look great in my clothes. I just didn't. I had cute workout clothes, but I just wasn't where I wanted to be yet. But I got the cutest outfits and I would get to the gym and I had a good trainer. And he was always, you're the comeback kid, Camille. And I would see improvements every day, and they were little improvements. I mean, I'd been injured. I'd had a knee injury. I had a hip that was going bad. Eventually, I needed a hip replacement, but I worked so damn hard. I just would show up. I would dress cute, and I would look at myself in the mirror and be like, Camille, you're doing this. You're doing this. Like you're showing up for yourself, and nobody's going to stop you this time. And it was something that came from so deep inside me because I just wanted it so bad. I knew I had so many years left. I'm 57 now, but 50 is a hard birthday. You just start thinking, time is flying by. What do I want out of my life? What am I really going to push hard for? And it is it is hard when you get there yourself. And But I just kept looking at myself in the mirror every morning and it'd be like, you're doing this, Camille. You're beautiful. You're strong. You are just going to be incredible. And I talked to myself. I did a vision board. I put everything I wanted out of my life. And a big part of that was my physical body. I wanted my physical body back. I wanted to be strong again. And I worked hard every day. And I started very, very small. But every little step I took higher and higher, and I just got stronger and stronger, and I worked out longer. Um, Even my trainer at the gym was like, Camille, you are getting so strong, and every injury I just kept pushing through. I just kept doing it. I just didn't let things get in my way. I would have tears sometimes, and things took longer than I wanted them to. I just remember thinking, I still don't look how I want to look, but you know what? After a year, I had lost 20 pounds. I was stage ready. I competed and my body I looked so strong on stage. I had pictures taken afterwards and I had muscles that came out of every part of me. I was so strong, but I pushed through every fear. I didn't, things did get to me. They really did. But I just kept going no matter what. And I kept talking to myself in the mirror. I posted little sayings on my mirror in the fridge. Um, I'm a big believer in all of that. I think everything you put into your mind, it makes a huge difference. I looked at people that had actually achieved massive goals and they stopped listening to what other people said. They started going for it. They didn't give a shit about anybody else. And it took them time, but they got there and they did talk to themselves. I mean, you do talk to yourself, you do a lot of visualizations, and you really visualize yourself there and what you're going to look like. And it works. That stuff works so well because your body starts believing it. You start believing it because you really do. You get yourself there through your mind and your body follows. So I did a lot of things, a lot of things. But yeah, that's, yeah. What did you do in the beginning?
And all that. Well, I like your story because this we're focused on you. I like how you spent a lot of time on your mindset. You spent a lot of time on your self talk. You reminded yourself and you told yourself like this is going to happen for you, because I always tell my clients, like all the clients, they're like, this will never happen. I'm like, well, if you keep saying that, you're probably right. And that's what I always tell them. I'm like, if you keep telling yourself that, you'll eventually start showing up that way. But if you show up and you tell yourself like this is going to happen for me, I'm going to get there, like I just need to keep showing up, like your mind and your self-talk and what you listen to is the most powerful thing. So,
It
yeah,
is.
I love everything you said. Like the confidence maybe wasn't fully there in the beginning, but you built it over time and as you continued to talk to yourself more positively, as you did more like vision work, you did more like work on your self-talk, like that's what really helped you build up that version like where you were able to step on stage and compete and feel confident enough to do that. And I feel like that's maybe where a lot of women struggle because they spend a lot of time like focused on, oh, I'll never get there, it'll never happen for me. And I always say like if that's how you're talking to yourself, like you're probably right. Like, at least like take time to like listen to positive material and like fill your mind with things like this will happen and be abundant with it. So I love all that because that's what really made the change for you.
Well,
Um,
and I
yeah, so
also
we'll go
made,
ahead and wrap this up though. Oh yeah, no, keep
I
going.
also, I'm thinking back, I journaled a lot. I would make mini goals for myself and like that was important too. I made a lot of mini goals for myself and then I would reach those and I would make more little mini goals for myself. And it was all of like a slow, long process, but it took and it stayed. And, it just, when you take it slow, you learn those things. You really do, those behaviors. Those behaviors just, they imprint in your mind and in your body. Your body feels them and it becomes more of who you are. So, and I loved who I was becoming. I mean, I had a lot of things happen in my life, but I loved this part of me. I loved the strong version of me. And I was never going back to somebody that let things just take me away anymore. So, yeah.
Love that. That's what I love about your story is, you use the version of you that just like let it all take you down and now you're at the point where you're just like, okay, well, not never again. And I feel like for a lot of women like who are maybe starting, like maybe this is the last time this will happen for like all those times like you let life take you down. If you have the right things in place, you have the right support, the right coaching, the right help, the right like you believers, like people who believe in you, like that will be the last time. And for a lot of my clients, when they come to me, they're like, I'm just sick of not putting myself first. And I'm like, hey, then we need to make sure that we build
Oh,
habits in self talk and our mindset to not let it happen again. Because it's natural for us as women to put ourselves very last, especially
yes.
as moms, or just women in general. I find this even with my clients who are not mothers. They naturally just put everybody else before themselves because it's very
We
innate in
are.
us. We're very natural givers of who we are and our energy. We're empathetic. Like women are all empaths. Like we're all very like empathetic towards other people. And so I think like if you just make the decision like this is the last time I'm going to let myself fall back into that version of myself, then it will be. You just need to make sure to keep showing up for yourself every day. So I love that.
It is a feeling that comes deep from deep inside because I had let those things take over in my life. I'd let, family problems, issues take over to where I couldn't, and just even with the community and things that I did in my life, I served my church and everything took over. Absolutely everything took over in my life. I let myself slide. I couldn't function. And I hit such rock bottom. I just remember I got to a point where I'm like, never, ever, ever again. And, for the women that are listening, you can do that, but it's got to come from deep inside you to where you want it so, so bad. I mean, and once you start feeling like you can do this, you'll never want to let it go again. It's because it's so hard to be in that place where you give up everything of yourself to everybody else. It's so self-defeating. It's just so hard to be in that place. You just feel like you're drowning. And when you can finally come up out of that and feel like you can finally do a little bit for yourself, take it and do it and do a little bit more time for yourself. And you will find ways to carve out a little bit more time for yourself. It'll just come to you and you start wishing for it so bad. Start wishing for it. Start throwing it out into the universe. It's true. You start saying things to yourself, to the universe. You say little prayers and they'll come to you and you start writing those things down, of little ways that you can help yourself or of ways that you can fulfill this dream that you have of how you want to give to yourself now. And it'll happen. You will just find ways and then it'll just start coming to you more and more. Because God wants you to feel empowered. It's who you are. You've been empowered for absolutely everybody in your life, your whole life. You have given to everybody. It is time to give back to yourself. That takes time to realize that you're worth it, that you can take that time and that you can do it. And so you just start putting that out there. And I swear it'll just come to you how you can do it and how you can achieve it because you are meant to be empowered and to feel powerful for yourself. I mean, that is the coolest feeling ever because your family will always need you. Your family will always have things that come up, that struggles will always happen. But if you can right now, just tell yourself, right now, I'm going to do this for me and I'm never going to let this happen again because I'm important. I am worth it. I need to feel this love inside myself because I am a powerful person. I am this little girl and I've always wanted to be this. Always wanted to feel good and empowered and to love myself enough to give myself time to be who I want to be. So you make a commitment now and you don't go back on it and you just keep doing it little by little. I started out so very small, but little by little I did it. So just know you can do it. You've got it in you. And there will be people that will come to you and there will be things that will come to you in your mind. You just start doing it. So it's like everything will just start working for you. Just start putting it out there and it'll come. Yeah.
It's really powerful. I think we'll just end there. I don't have anything else to add. That's really powerful. For those of you listening and are inspired by this podcast today, please like, comment, and share this with someone you feel like might need it. If you feel so compelled, like, hey, wow, Camille's story is super inspiring, I want to achieve that, find us on social media, send us a message. We'd love to chat with you, see how we can help. My mom's also a coach herself too. If you want to work with her, message us, let us know. She's a very not only inspiring person, but she motivates and uplifts other people all around her all the time. So thanks for sharing with us your story today, Mom. We appreciate it. And for anybody listening, again, please leave us a review, share the podcast. It definitely helps us continue to want to put these up. Thanks, guys.
Bye.